Everything about the World Finals is so unique, including the qualifying. It's done the night before the Monster Jam World Finals. The trucks actually get 2 practice passes before they qualify, Ken, so they get to try both lanes out before they put down a time that will determine who they race on Saturday.
Yeah, now, this is very critical this particular year because the track is different than it's ever been before. So these guys and gals definitely want to get another look at this track, both lanes, right lane and left lane. It's been critical in years gone by.
Do not run hard tonight. Tomorrow night is the real thing, okay?
It doesn't matter for us in the 8 bracket. Best I can do is 13th. Not that I do better than that anyway.
Tired of coming here and not winning. So, yeah, if I could just win, then I wouldn't have to come back.
I'm thinking 3's the charm for me. My 3rd time here. I think it's my turn. We're getting ready to go. Do a little question and answer, and pull our numbers for our qualifying order.
How do you feel about qualifying?
Well, qualifying is a good way to get a test of the track here. When you come back every year, the track can change a little bit. They put different stuff out there, so time to feel the track out and get ready for the big event tomorrow.
Look at that. This is our year, man. Been coming here, tired of going home empty-handed. This is their year for the Ford.
How important is qualifying?
Qualifying is very important. I mean, you get to pick your lanes here if you qualify, so you got to have a good, quick time.
I'm too shy to talk to them. I don't like cameras. I'm too shy.
All right, let's get this game going.
I do have confidence. I am confident. If you look in the dictionary between confidence, I'm incompetent.
We're trying to stay focused. Actually, right now I have to go to the bathroom so bad. I need to hurry up and get this part of it over with so I can go to the urinal.
And you're gonna do qualifying now?
Yeah, we're gonna do qualifying. We're gonna get practice in the right lane, practice in the left lane, but we're choosing right now what lane that we're gonna qualify in. Hopefully I get the right lane to qualify. I don't think it's a better lane.
As we take a look at the qualifying, Frank Krimmel in the power forward out of Atlanta, Georgia, sets up in the right-hand lane to come down and lay down his shot. And Jim Kohler, the Avenger 1957 Chevy, that's the body he will put on it tomorrow. Ken, most of the trucks take their bodies off for qualifying.
Yes, sir. That's what I get, either number 1 or number 2. I'm one of the first guys out. I'm here to have fun, so it don't matter. We'll see what happens.
And you're right, Scott, a lot of these guys will take the bodies off, and most of them will leave the hood on, like Frank Krimmel. In fact, I'm very surprised that Jim Kohler didn't leave the hood of that 57 Chevrolet on his truck. That's a large piece of body work to learn how to see around.
Yeah, he'll see nothing like this tomorrow. He'll have that front clip on, but he's getting a good qualifying pass down. Pretty strong run. Oh, no, he's gone over.
Wow,
Kohler flips it over.
He just stuffed the front of that thing. Usually they would hit the throttle and pull out of it, but I don't think he even had a chance. I think it just stuffed the front bumper.
Now, the only good thing you can say for Jim is that he flipped it after posting his time. So it's an 18:18, 1/100th better than Frank Krimmel. So the Avenger will get seated in off that time, and a lot of thrashing work, I'm sure, will be done overnight before the World Finals. Mr. Excitement. And again, the fans he's talking to, remember, there are 3,000 fans in here for the first time. They're all part of the Double Down package. That's the folks who get that special opportunity to come out Friday night for qualifying, for the barbecue, for everything that goes along with the night before the World Finals.
And I got to tell you, looking at that replay one more time, Kohler was just hard on the brakes, man. There was no gas on that one. Those front tires are not moving at all.
Paul Cohen comes out solo in the Pastrana 199.
Yeah, there were some guys that had some problems in the first 2 practice runs. We talked about taking a look at both lanes. They actually run 3 times out here. 2 practice runs, 1 in each lane, and then this run, which is qualifying.
Nice save, but it's going to cost him big time in terms of where he lands in the field.
You can see the frustration there as the neck brace came off, the neck collar came off, and he won't even turn around and go and finish the time. They'll just give him a DNF, and he'll go to the bottom of the field.
So Travis Pastrana's truck, Pastrana 199, with Paul Cohen behind the wheel, is going to be seated basically at the bottom. Now, Jim Cretin and the Bounty Hunter. Tonganoxie, Kansas traditionally has been one of the top qualifiers, but Tony Farrell in Blue Thunder has been right with him in practice runs. This is going to be, I mean, I know it's not a race, they're qualifying, but this is going to be like a top-level World Finals race here.
And Tony Farrell's been real good in that left lane, but I think what Kohler did and what Jimmy Creighton is doing here is they took all the body work off. He's going for his quickest qualifying time because he wants to get on the top part of that ladder and hopefully get lane choice.
He's going to do just that, a scintillating qualifying pass by Jimmy Creighton in the Bounty Hunter, and Blue Thunder's in trouble. What happened there, Ken? That was after the run.
You know, it just kicked him off for that jump a little sideways, and he tried to steer out of that and was not able to do so. He ends up hitting the fountain, but that's the man right there right now.
16:58. That's a blistering qualifying time, and that one's going to be tough to beat from Jimmy Creighton and the Bounty Hunter as the safety crew gets over, looks Tony Farrell's okay. It was just a wild run. Then he was trying to make up some ground on Bounty Hunter. His qualifying is 18:28. What happened, Tony?
My rear steering didn't work in the other lane, the right lane. I think it might be a little faster. I run the same time and I didn't have no rear steering. We're at 61, 62 mile an hour. Hey, I'm happy with that, but we need to step it up just a little bit more.
Qualifying continues with Bobby Z out of the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois, a veteran from racing at the World Finals.
I got to run both lanes. I know what it feels like. Now I know what I need to do. Shift a little sooner, run it a little harder. I think we can do well today.
Now Bobby will come out of the right-hand lane, which means he gets to turn left, which a lot of drivers prefer. Dennis Anderson will be in the other lane.
Honestly think I can drive just a little teeny bit faster. That last pass was a 16:25 at 67 miles an hour. Tom Mintz went 67 miles an hour at a 16:10. He's going to be tough to beat. He's got lightweight planetaries and lightweight tires. He's got the advantage on me right there. We got the motor, but we got the weight to go along with it. So I don't know. Maybe if it comes down to us guys when it really counts, then maybe he'll crack before I do.
Well, you can tell how this rivalry between Anderson and Mintz affects everything. It's Jimmy Creighton he needs to beat right now, but he's only thinking about beating Mintz. And look at this, Bobby Z's actually down the track faster than he is.
And Bobby Z talked about his plan. He's going to short shift. He's going to shift it a little bit early and then lean on the throttle. That's what he did, but he missed that turn.
He missed the turn, but still a pretty solid qualifying run at 18:18 for the Monster Mutt. Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger for the moment will go second on the grid, but he can't be happy with a 17:79, more than a second behind Creighton. Now look at the Escalade. The Escalade during practice flipped the truck, and that's why George Bellhand's front clip looks terrible. Medusa will be in the other lane.
And that's what we talked about before. You know, during practice, some of these drivers had an awful tough time, and we talked about the new track configuration. They start off on dirt. They used to start off on asphalt. Then they would cross over to dirt. Now the whole track's just dirt, and that first turn is a little softer, so it would appear so you can carry a lot more speed. Some of the drivers got into trouble with it.
Here they come around the turn, and it looks like Medusa has a brilliant run going. That was outstanding from Medusa. Escalade pretty good. That's the third best we've seen so far at 17:78, but number 2 on the grid is Medusa, behind only Bounty Hunter with her time of 17:22. Believe me, this is what matters to Medusa more than anything else, doing well in racing this year at the World Finals.
The track is great. I feel really comfortable with the track. It's not too slippery. I'm getting around the corners really good. I'm running really hot. Top 5 fastest trucks. I mean, I'm hanging with the big dogs, and that means a lot.
She sure is. She's actually second right now behind only Bounty Hunter. Here's the Destroyer, Airman Van Evans out of Scottsville, Michigan, back at the World Finals.
It's great. You know, the track's really fast coming out of the chute here. It's a little bit tight in the corners, straightaways. Trucks aren't getting squirrely. Turns are nice and tight. We're good to go. We had a good first pass, second pass. We had a little bit of timing loss in the truck. We just tweaked it up. This is the pass that counts. So the Destroyer's going to go out and rock it on this pass.
The other lane will be manned by Lupe Sosa, one of the reigning world freestyle champions in El Toro Loco.
2 previous years I've qualified on the opposite lane, on the right lane. I'm psyching, my mind is all psyched out already. I'm going to make my qualifying pass in a lane that I've never qualified in before, and it's a right turn. You know, we're accustomed to driving on the left side of the vehicle, so a left turn's always easier than a right turn. So my mind's already kind of messed up right now. I'm thinking, oh God, I'm not going to do good on this run. Hopefully I can overcome that psychological psych that I'm under right now that, you know, I'm going to have to make a right turn. It's going to be hard, but I think I can pull it off, you know.
Coming off the line, Ken, you know the other thing about the start, not only did they put dirt back there instead of asphalt, they changed the angle a little bit, and you've been looking at the times very extensively through practice and qualifying. It looks like the lanes are as even as we've ever seen here in Vegas.
If you dissect the lanes and you break the lanes down, they are identical to the turn. The difference is at the turn. And Lupe just said it. If you're driving a left steer truck, you struggle with a right-hand turn, bottom line. If you're sitting in the center, they should both theoretically be the same, but they still seem to struggle with that left lane. But I promise you, those lanes are as close as they've ever been. In fact, I would venture to say they are identical.
Michael Vaughters comes rolling off the line very softly in Black Stallion as he's going to get a solo run in here. Mike's been battling some things a little bit.
Now, Mike, he lost rear-wheel drive in that truck, so all he has is front-wheel drive, so he's kind of pulling himself around here. It's also very tough to turn, has no rear steer back there. He's not pushing himself at all, so it's a tough mark for him. But, you know, when you take a look at the Pastrana 99 truck that had a DNF, he'll actually qualify himself ahead of him on the ladder.
And he has, of course, all night to get the truck ready for Saturday's World Finals. Scott Hartsock, the gunslinger Ford, after a year away from the World Finals, he's back.
No, I tell you what, we got these lanes real equal. Left lane just as good as the right lane. You know, it's all superstitious right now. I mean, you can look at it, it looks a little different. It's holding the power. It's equal as far as width, length, distance, thickness, the whole 9 yards. So anybody that's going to start pulling that stuff right now, it's just they're not confident or quick.
Now, Hartsock's a veteran of the finals. He's been to the championship race before, but for Dawn Cretin, this is her first chance to race at the World Finals in Scarlet Bandit.
You know what? Pretty dang nervous, actually. Kind of. I'm excited, but being that it's my first year here, I don't want people to say, oh, you can tell it's her first year here.
Here we go.
She struggled in qualifying as well. Practice, I should say. They had a problem with the rear steer, and it bounced her around inside of Thunder Alley. They seem to have the problem fixed, but I'm sure she'll be a little cautious here.
Still, she is taking it very softly, very cautiously. Scott Hartsock wants to qualify amongst the big guns, and he's put down a pretty good shot right here. 17:49. Matter of fact, that'll put him third behind only Bounty Hunter and Medusa. That puts Gunslinger in front of Gravedigger. Max D still to come. Here comes the Team Mentz entry of Phil Foster in Hot Wheels out of Paxton, Illinois, and the other lane manned by a driver who raced in the finals 1 year ago, and I mean the championship race. Pablo Huffaker was the runner-up to Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson at last year's championships. Real soft start off the line for Phil Foster.
Yeah, very soft. Something's broken on that truck. As you can see, he's not under power. We'll go back to Pablo Huffaker. Nice paint job. It was new 1 year ago. He said he just likes a black truck, but I promise you all the fans love the colors. He has a real nice lap there in that left lane.
Not bad at all at 18:06. So Pablo Huffaker puts down a pretty good shot in the Blacksmith. And again, as you mentioned, Hot Wheels does finish it, so he will go ahead and get a time, even though it's a very slow one at 29:66. A lot of work, a lot of thrashing coming up, you can bet, from the Mentz team to get Phil Foster ready in the Hot Wheels. That's a truck that can figure to make some noise in the championship brackets, but they've got to have it at 100%.
You can see that little bracket there on the left-hand side of him, little paddle down there. That's where Team Mentz keeps their rear steer. Almost everybody uses a right hand. Team Mentz, of course, Tom Mentz and Phil Foster both use their left hand.
Back to more qualifying with David Smith and the King Crunch Chevrolet out of Spring, Texas. He'll man the right-hand lane, and of course, if you start in the right-hand lane, that means you get to make the left-hand turn. And here is a driver who has come on gangbusters this year, Chad Fortune, who's taken over the ride in Superman.
You know, this is practice. Being smooth, being fast, and making that turn.
Chad Fortune has been extremely consistent in both lanes. In fact, it's consistent or quite possibly better than everybody else in the field.
You know, he's been consistent all year. As a matter of fact, he's won more races on Speed Channel than any driver not named Mentz or Anderson this year. So Fortune has had a whale of a year. And
nice
a pretty
job.
good run, yeah.
Yeah, he really cut that turn close. I mean, very close to the turning poles. Kept it very smooth, and he crosses the stripe first.
Nice qualifying runs, really, for both of those trucks, but Superman's going to be in better shape. Well, here's the one we want to keep our eye on, Tom Mentz. He's been up and down. I mean, he's been all over the place.
This guy always practices or qualifies with a hood on, but unfortunately for Tom Meents, things didn't go just as planned here in a practice round earlier tonight. He flipped it over, tore the hood off, even did his signature move with a hand sticking out of the roll cage, but it is not the way he wanted it to end up. They had to thrash on this truck to get it ready for qualifying.
Which was one of the reasons I was surprised that Dennis Anderson was still so worried about Tom's time. I don't know that this truck's going to be 100%. You can see how hard they're working here, Ken.
These guys thrash. I mean, talk about tearing stuff up. I mean, unbelievable that they can even make the call.
Trying to get the top spot away from Jimmy Cretin and the Bounty Hunter.
He just had to pedal that thing twice right there. That is not what he wanted to do.
Is he back at 100%? That's what we're looking for here.
Oh, and he's in trouble again. What
Nice
a save.
Brilliant save, but it's going to kill the qualifying run. He's still on the clock. The clock is still going. He knows other people have had trouble. He knows there are some DNSs and DNFs. This is smart. Finish the run as fast as you can.
And then still stuck his hand out of the window there to let everybody know.
29:22 is the time. It's better than a DNF. Let's see where that ends up putting him into the bracket as the fans here for the double downs, of 3,000 of them, saluting Tom Meents and Maximum Destruction, but he is nowhere near the top of this qualifying grid. With qualifications complete, ready for the World Championships, it is Jimmy Cretin and the Bounty Hunter who sits number 1 in the grid. Now, the 8 trucks that were seated 13 through 20 before the start go right into round 1. Everybody else into round 2. Look at the power in this upper half of the bracket.
Man, Blacksmith, Maximum Destruction, Gravedigger, Bounty Hunter, all those people on the same side of the ladder.
And I got to tell you, there's some people like Gunslinger and Medusa who think they've got shots at winning this World Championship.
The 3,000 fans that were here for the Double Down were really treated to a great qualifying show here Friday night.
And, of course, it'll be a sold-out stadium for the World Finals. But if you're coming to future World Finals, get online at ushra.com. Get those